My name is Brittany Owensman, and I am the Director of Recruiting at CodeWorks. And we are a software development boot camp here in Boise, Idaho. And the reason why I get to chat with you today is I have a pretty extensive background in recruiting and kind of like career services. So when I first got out of college, I started working at a company called Adecco. I actually had applied for an administrative role, and I ended up getting a recruiter position. I had a background kind of in hiring and networking from hospitality, and so I landed a job with Adecco. They are a staffing agency, and I was working on office and professional and executive roles, and then also direct hires. And so it was a really exciting role. I quickly was promoted to a senior recruiter and mentor for the whole Western Division. And I was primarily what we call the direct hire recruiter. So if you've ever worked with a staffing agency, there's typically two options. One is to be a temp to hire. So maybe you have like a little trial before the company hires you on. And then in direct hire is kind of also known as like headhunting, right? So a company would give me their job opening, and then I would go out and source candidates, recruit them, and then the company would pay a fee for our behind the scenes work on that. So that was primarily my efforts at Adecco. And then I was recognized as one of the top 100 recruiters in the nation. So that was super exciting. I was flown out to Walt Disney World, where I got to work with just some other amazing recruiters. And I went through this program called Service Excellence. And so this was taking my sales background, my recruiting background, and just kind of elevating it. It was just a huge honor to be part of that group. And then I was tasked with the initiative to come back and kind of retrain our whole division. So that was really exciting. And so then a little bit later, a company called Paylocity came into town, and they are a Chicago-based payroll and HR company. And so they were looking to open a site here in Boise, Idaho, and they found me on LinkedIn. I would have never heard about this opportunity if I didn't have a LinkedIn account. So it's really important that even if you have that job, to continue maintaining your LinkedIn account. And so I was hired as their first employee here in Boise, and I grew the site to 165 employees. I was tasked with kind of brand awareness, grassroots recruiting efforts. Nobody knew who Paylocity was, so I really had to kind of create some initiatives to get our name out there. And so that was really exciting. I worked on different roles across the entire country, everything from like customer service to sales to learning and development, distribution, kind of you name it. So I was there for about 2.5 years. And then I left and I joined a company called CodeWorks, which is my current employer. And like I said, we're a software development boot camp. So our students are career changers. They come from all different walks of life, and after 13 weeks, they're trained to be a junior software developer. So I approached the CEO, and they didn't really have anybody in my role. They had only been open for about 2 years and still kind of in the small startup phase. Okay, so I am so sorry about that. I could hear the instructors in the classroom like, oh no, we just lost internet. And I was like, oh, bummer. Yeah. So I was telling you about my background. So yeah, I've been at CodeWorks, like I said, for a little over 3 years. I've taught I've recruited over 200, probably over 250 students now, and just increased our career placement and our employer network. And now I'm excited because I am going to get certified in actually writing LinkedIn profiles. So I've kind of taken on a role as being a career coach here for our students. And so I'm going to get my NCOPE probably here within the next several weeks. I start the training next week. So that is where I would be nationally certified in writing LinkedIn profiles. So I'm super excited about that. But why I think everyone should be on LinkedIn is there are 500 million users. And, you know, I always get feedback from people that they're really nervous about being on social media, and what do they share, and the benefits of it. And if you're going to be on one platform, I highly recommend LinkedIn. Like I said, I would not have landed that career or that position at Paylocity without my LinkedIn account. It really can just launch your career forward. But there's a lot of people on there. It is all about networking. So getting into the mindset of you are sharing and connecting with like-minded individuals that are in similar industries as you and have similar interests. That's kind of what it's all about. It's not the Facebook, it's not the Instagram where you're sharing personal things. It's all about who you are as a professional. And on average, there are 11 million job postings. This is just a general statistic, not anything specific to a specific industry. And then there are 94% of recruiters are on LinkedIn. So if you're kind of wanting to take your career to the next level or change careers, you want to get in front of all of those recruiters. They are the gatekeeper to those companies. And so you can connect with the recruiters, you can connect with people on the hiring teams, and kind of bypass the applicant tracking system. And that's when you apply online and your resume goes through an online portal, and it sometimes just sits there. So that's why kind of networking is really important. It's more important now than ever because we are in a pandemic still, and so face-to-face interaction is very slim, right? So we're not going to meetups anymore. We're not going to other networking events. So we've got to still have a way to kind of connect with these professionals. So 80 to 85% of jobs are still never posted online. These are the best opportunities. They get snagged through networking and referrals. So what happens behind the scenes, right? Maybe Tony and I are networking about a librarian position, and then when my company has an opening, I'm immediately thinking about Tony, right? So I'm like, hey, Tony, I have this opening. I would love to chat with you further about it. So I already have a pipeline of candidates before that job listing is ever revealed to the public. So I'm kind of bypassing that because let's face it, hiring managers, they also don't want to be doing interviews all day long. And so the way that they can speed that up, one, they're saving money, they're saving some resources, and anytime there's any kind of hiring, there's some kind of pain point. And so the faster we can fill that pain point, the better off the company is. On average, though, right now during the pandemic, job openings are getting about 2,000 applications. Now, once again, this is not industry specific. So there are some industries that might be higher or some that might be lower, but still you might be competing with a very large pool of candidates. And there is no way a recruiter can physically see all 2,000 applications in truly a timely manner. And we have kind of a certain time frame that we want to fill that role. So by using LinkedIn to kind of connect with people and kind of bypass that applicant tracking system, you can really connect with people. So on average, though, only 2% of applicants who apply online will be called in for interviews. It's very narrow. So if you kind of think of a funnel, right? I get 2,000 applications, I have one opening. So I'm probably only screening maybe 10, maybe 15 people out of those 2,000, right? So I'm quickly scanning resumes. I'm kind of looking for the ideal fit. And once I get those like 10 to 15 people I want to talk to, I'm not continuing on. I'm not looking at the 2,000th applicant, right? So and then I'm narrowing it down even more from there. And then 39% of successful hires are coming from referrals. So these are additional people who you know outside of just networking. This is maybe somebody you've already worked with or somebody in your personal network. So when I think of LinkedIn, I like to think of it actually like going to the library or a bookstore. So as a recruiter, I am tasked with finding, talented professionals like yourself. And so I'm given kind of a job title or specific industry. And so I'm kind of narrowing my search by kind of those keywords and kind of that industry or job title, right? So if you think about the last time you went to the library or a bookstore and you wanted to just go check out a new book, but you didn't have any recommendations, you were just kind of wanting something new to read. Well, typically we start off with a genre. I personally like thrillers. So if I were to go to the library or bookstore, I'm probably looking at the thriller section. And if you're scanning those, aisles of books, what typically makes us grab one book over the other is that binding, the title, maybe the front cover, right? So we're going to see the title, those bindings, we're going to pull that book off the shelf, we're going to flip it over and we're going to read the back summary, right? That's traditionally the process. And then from there, that sounds really good, we're going to check that book out and we're going to read the chapters, right? So I want you, as you're kind of crafting your LinkedIn profile, it is telling a story, and I want you to kind of visualize that library or bookstore scenario. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have a profile picture, right? So a headshot, a professional headshot. This is not sitting in your car and doing a selfie. Just have a friend take your picture next to like a solid colored wall, and you're wearing, maybe a simple top, a button-up top or a blouse that maybe is a solid color, and have some decent lighting from the window, or if you need to use a flash or something. But make it very simple in that sense. It, like I said, it's not a selfie, it's not like a wedding photo or a family photo. It should be who you are as a professional. Okay, so that's initially what's going to draw us in, is that picture. And then LinkedIn also has the opportunity to do what's called a banner photo. So I'm going to show you my LinkedIn profile really quick. So bear with me, and I hope you can still see this here. But we've got my headshot here, and then this is my banner photo. LinkedIn automatically gives you like a blue kind of background. This is a way to kind of show your personality. So kind of customize this to whatever you see fit, flowers or something that really intrigues you. And that could be an icebreaker for the interview. If you've got a beautiful landscape over there, I might call that out and say, oh, wow, that's a great picture. And you can say, yeah, that's actually where I like to go fishing with my dad, or, something like that. So it's still kind of showing part of your personality and using that as an icebreaker. So going back to the library scenario though, this is my cover, this is my banner, okay, or my binding. So then the next thing here we have is your headline. So automatically LinkedIn will have your headline as your title. So anytime you go and update your title on your summary experience, it'll automatically update your headline to this. That's okay. But what I like to think of the headline as is your prime real estate. If you were to go and comment on somebody's post, everybody who is following you and who is following that person who created the post is seeing your picture and your headline. So it is top real estate. This is about 250 to 300 characters of who you are as a professional. What do you want me to know in that short little excerpt? So typically I like to use kind of this formula, this, your role, the industry and expertise, and then maybe your unique value. What else can you contribute to the team, or that you've done, or maybe you have a specific achievement that you want to call out. What I typically advise people not to put is seeking opportunities. This is kind of a waste of space because LinkedIn actually now has a function, some functionality in there where you can already notify people that you're looking for opportunities without taking part of that prime real estate. So another example, and my background, like I said, is currently I'm working with software developers. So I apologize, a lot of the examples are kind of geared towards that, but you can apply this to any industry that you work in. So you're going to have like your position plus company, your primary skills, which are maybe your keywords, and then something else like your zing. That's the other thing that differs you from other candidates. So for example, we've got software developer at Amazon, and then the specific technologies that they use, agile evangelist and public speaker. Okay, now obviously if you're this sounds far more impressive than just junior software developer at Amazon. And as a recruiter, it's drawing me in to your profile. It's telling me a little bit more about who you are as a candidate and what you can contribute. This is, at the end of the day, LinkedIn is your marketing piece, right? This is your brochure. And so what do you want employers to know about you? So kind of going back to my profile here really quick. So you can see I've got my title here, Director of Recruiting at CodeWorks. I also have kind of transitioned into a career coach type role. So I wanted that to be on there. I feel like that's really important. About 2 years ago, I spoke at an HR conference. So I was a Disrupt HR speaker. And then I consider myself a master relationship builder. So you can see, this can vary. This could be, maybe you have 10 plus years of experience in management. Maybe you have a bachelor's in communication. Maybe you were recognized for President's Club in sales, right? Maybe you increased revenue. Whatever that special thing is that you want, you can convey that. So immediately, whenever someone sees my picture and my headline, they can recognize that I'm in recruiting, that I am kind of a candidate advocate. I do some public speaking, and I really enjoy kind of building relationships and networking. Immediately, you can already assess that just from this part alone, and you haven't even looked at my profile. So once again, going back to the library reference, that is your title. That's what's drawing someone in, okay? So then we've got to move on to the next section. And one part that's not actually in here now that I'm seeing this is your professional summary. So let me show you that really quick. This is essentially like the back of your book, once again, going to kind of that reference. This is your story. Okay? So I have a little quote here that I kind of live by. And then this is, if any of you are familiar with an elevator pitch, this is essentially elevator pitch. This is what I told you at the beginning of my presentation, highlighting certain parts of my career and really some things that I want people to know about me. So this is kind of maybe hard and soft skills, but at the end of the day, this is your story. If you are a career changer, tell me, your previous career and tell me and walk me through that transition and tell me about your new career, right? So this is highlighting specific achievements or promotions or maybe, certain metrics or just my career transition throughout the years. So this is the back of your book, okay? And then the next section was talking about the history, okay? So this is your work history. So, sorry, let me move these guys over here. Actually, we'll just minimize that. So this is keeping all of your work history relevant and recent. I recommend probably about the last 7 to 10 years, especially if you're in anything technology related. You know that the industry changes so fast that 10 years ago, it's probably outdated. So that's, for most of us, when we think about 10 years ago, that's probably not what I want to be known for, right? Maybe 10 years ago, I think I was in hospitality, I was in management, but I've kind of transitioned my career now into recruiting. So I don't feel that really highlights my skill set. So when you're creating your bullet points, you want to highlight your accomplishments, your promotions, anytime exceeding metrics, goals, performance evaluations, quantifiable accomplishments. I don't want you to just copy and paste your resume, but anytime you have experience listed, it should list out about 3 to 5 bullets of the things that you're most proud of. So once again, I apologize for going back and forth and shifting here, but let me just kind of show you what my experience looks like. And before I dive into that, you can see right here under this featured section, if you are in any kind of industry where you might have media links, maybe you're in marketing or technology, or you've done any kind of public speaking that was recorded, you can put a link here. You just have to go up here where it says add profile section, and you just have to unlock these certain areas. If they're not automatically showing up, if you're brand new to LinkedIn, they might not show up. So I could add any links here that might, help tell my story as a professional. The other thing I wanted to highlight before we talk about experience too is your dashboard. This is, if you are really data driven, this can show you some really cool information. I do not have LinkedIn Premium account. If you choose to do LinkedIn Premium, it's about $30 a month, and you get access to a lot of information as far as like who has viewed your profile, what kind of activity are your posts getting, how many search appearances are you showing up in. And if I click on this right now, you can see it's wanting me to try and get the premium to show some of this. So if you're really data driven, go for it. You get the first month when you sign up for premium, you get the first month for free. Otherwise, if you're a veteran, you get it for a year for free. I don't have it. I think you can still network without it. The other benefit of premium is you get access to LinkedIn Learning, which is a really cool platform. And then also you get to do what's called in-mails. So this is where you can message somebody that you're not connected to. But I'm going to show you a way around that here in just a second. So kind of going back to the experience, you can see my profile is pretty filled out. I've got several bullet points. And the thing that's really unique about LinkedIn, this is not my resume. This is my marketing piece. And I want you guys to start thinking about it that way. So here are like some reviews from students that I have helped over at my time at CodeWorks. And then even here at Paylocity, here are some Glassdoor reviews that I had from, that I had from Paylocity, right? So anything like that that you want to add and kind of add validation or credibility to your profile, absolutely. I think that that's really important. You can also attach links or documents. So you can see I have a letter of recommendation here as well. So once again, like I said, this is kind of your marketing piece. So that's your history. So it's, you know, I don't want bullet points like responsible for. I want to really know how you made that role your own, right? So for example, as a recruiter, if I said filled positions in Boise and across multiple cities. Well, that's great. Like I did my job, but that really doesn't tell you much about me. Whereas if I said filled over 165 roles in customer service, sales, learning, and development nationwide, right? And within an average 28-day fill time. That tells you a little bit more specifically about my background and kind of those metrics and accomplishments, right? So it's a lot more detailed. So LinkedIn has other options here. You know, fill out as much of the profile as you can. So the skills section, you can have up to 50 words on the skills section. These are the keywords that when a recruiter is doing a Boolean search, they are looking for these keywords. So I'll show you that in a second. If you have any volunteer opportunities, you want to fill that out. And then if you have any education, right? If you have certifications, 4-year degrees, anything like that, you want to put that on there. I would probably stay away from putting your high school diploma on there. Once again, it doesn't really add a lot of value other than the fact that you just completed high school. If you were in like an accelerated program and you had dual credits towards an associate's, then that might be something you might want to put on there. But otherwise, you know, when you're creating your LinkedIn profile, I want you to focus more about that value. And so kind of going back to that library reference, these are all of your chapters now that I'm reading, if that kind of makes sense. So going back here, so here are my skills section. So you get to pick your top 3 and you can see people endorsed me. So 71 people are saying I'm good at recruiting. And I could click on this and I could see the list of 71 people and their titles and where they come from and all of that. 57 people said I'm good in training and 23 people said I was good in human resources. And then I could add up to 50 words here. So these are the words that I want to be known for in that Boolean search. And so you get to choose which 3 are your top, and then they do have skill quizzes now. This is really cool, especially if you have specific skill sets. So probably like in Word and Excel, any kind of Microsoft Office program, they would have a skill there or a quiz. I know they have some for development, software development. So you could take a little quiz, and this is just once again validating that you have experience in that or knowledge in that area. So that's really cool. As you can see, I don't have any here. Because a lot of my skills are kind of more soft skills versus hard skills. But if I wanted to highlight Excel, I could take a skill quiz there, right? If I felt like that added a lot of value. But once again, you can just see kind of, these are all the people that are validating and endorsing me for that skill. So you can see now, here's all 71 people. You could see all their titles if I really wanted to look into that. And how you change this, so you just come up to here to edit, and you can click on these little pins right here to kind of customize it. And then you can go in and delete some of them if you want, right? So if I look back on my, college jobs, I was doing a lot of call center work. And so obviously I've got some customer service and retention on here, but I think I even had like the word call center on there. And so then I was getting all of these job listings for call centers. I don't want to be in a call center anymore. So clean those up, that just because I did that, that one time doesn't mean that, I have to have it on there. Okay. And then education. Yeah. So education. So right here, once again, so I have my bachelor's in business, and then I also did a year at BSU for directing and theater. So I could probably remove that. It really doesn't add much value right now other than just having Boise State on my profile. But you could, if you had certificates, you could upload the document, you could upload your diploma if you really wanted to. I probably wouldn't upload anything that has, your transcripts or any of that. That's very personal information. But if you had, let's say you're Scrum certified, or maybe you received a certification in crucial conversations, then you could, or leadership, you could put that here as well. And that's kind of just validating that once again. So we will go ahead and continue on. So the other thing is recommendations. So I want you to start requesting recommendations from professors if you went off to college or any kind of higher ed, previous coworkers, managers, why you want to have these recommendations. Obviously, we are all familiar with letters of recommendations and references. And some companies are starting to get away from that. They're using third-party sites to just verify your employment. So it really doesn't tell much about you as a candidate other than just confirming titles, dates of employment, are you eligible for rehire or not, those kinds of things. And so as a candidate, I can say, I definitely know that I've submitted my resume occasionally and thought, gosh, I'm more than just this piece of paper. I want you to know who I am as a professional and a person. And so these recommendations are a great way to do that. It's a testament of your strengths. It's public proof that you have certain skills. It allows you to be a standout candidate, right? If I'm considering two candidates and then I go back and look at their profiles and one has just outstanding recommendations with very consistent themes across the board, I might consider that person over the person who doesn't have recommendations on their profile. The other thing is, especially if you are looking for a new job or a new career, it allows you to stay in touch and top of mind. And what I mean by that is when you reach out to, let's say, a prior manager and you say, hey, I'd like to request a recommendation, maybe this starts a dialogue, right? Oh, Tony, what are you doing now? Oh, okay, so you're looking to get that, degree in librarian services. Well, that's so exciting. My sister-in-law actually is going through the same process. And now it's starting this dialogue, right? The idea of networking is we don't know who knows who, right? So by kind of just staying top of mind, that person might be putting in a good word for you with somebody else and connecting you with somebody who might just drastically change your career. So kind of thinking about that as well. How you do the recommendations. So let's just say, Alex, actually, I was searching for you earlier, which I'll show you in just a second. But so here's Alex with Unbound. If I wanted to request a recommendation, you have to be friends. So we are first connections. If she was a second connection, just meaning we are not directly connected, but we have mutual connections, I could not request a recommendation. But since we are first, I can request a recommendation this way. I could also go ahead and just recommend her that way too. So if we go back to my profile really quick, down here, you can see, so I've had LinkedIn for a long time. So this has been a process over several years, but I have received 14 recommendations. So if someone were to read these, they could see maybe consistent themes about maybe communication or myself as a recruiter. And then you could also read the ones that I've given as well. And so this is kind of a good idea just to get a better insight into who that person is that we might be hiring. And it tells you kind of when this was and like the connection between those people. So of my recommendations, I have professors from my time at college, I have colleagues, I have hiring managers since I've been in recruiting, I have candidates, I have students, I have another client. So it kind of just varies. It's not just one consistent, it's not all previous coworkers, right? Which if that's what you have, that's okay too. That's a good starting point. Okay, let's see here. And I'm just going to double check that we don't have any questions. If you guys do, feel free to put them in the chat. So that's great. Okay, so the other thing is thinking, is your LinkedIn optimized, right? So when as a recruiter, I'm given a requisition and I do kind of what's called an intake with a hiring manager. So I'm really trying to identify those keywords. I'm really trying to find that cultural fit, that experience that we're looking for. And so what you can do as a candidate is you can make sure your LinkedIn is comparable to those job searches or job listings. So here at CodeWorks, we have our students do this where they might find 10 job postings. You're going to put it in a word cloud like this, just wordclouds.com. And what are some of the key words, the soft skills that are standing out to you? Is it teamwork, communication, whatever it might be? And so now I could take my LinkedIn profile, I can download my LinkedIn profile as a PDF and then upload it to a word cloud. And am I seeing consistent words? If I'm not, then maybe this might be a way of saying, hey, let's, give me just 1 second, Tony, I will answer that in a second. So this might be a way of saying like, okay, they're looking for strong communication skills and my profile doesn't have communication really clearly listed on there. So I need to probably change some of my bullet points. So you can just go to your more section right here and then it says, save to PDF. Now, I don't want you to use this as your resume because your LinkedIn profile has so much more information than your resume should, but you can save it to a PDF and then, like I said, just compare the words. But let's just take a look really quick here. Tony, so should a person on LinkedIn ever update their profile photo? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we change over the years, right? To be honest, this photo was probably taken, probably like I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And I wear glasses all the time now, and I rarely wear contacts anymore. So I could update this just so it's a more kind of recent photo, right? You don't want to use a photo from when you were maybe 19 and now if you're in your 30s, things have changed and you look very different. So absolutely update it. It doesn't need to be every year, but I would say probably every 5 to 7 years, probably update it. Yeah,
okay.
That's a great question. So the other tip that I want to share is customizing your URL. So when you create a LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn will automatically give you this weird URL with a number and maybe your name, and it's quite lengthy. And so if you were to put your LinkedIn profile on your resume, it might look kind of just clunky because it's really long. You can go in and customize your URL. And then, so let's show you that before we move on to those other tips here. So I'm looking at my profile right here, and you can see edit public profile and URL. So I just click on that, and then right here, I can edit it. So this allows me to just have it my first and last name. And I'm very fortunate, Ownsman is not a very common last name, but if you have a very common name and it's taken, then maybe you put your first initial, last name, first name, middle initial, last name, whatever it needs to be, but kind of just get rid of that the pre-assigned URL. Okay, so the other thing, hold on here. Let's close some of my stuff. I hate how, okay, I'm gonna move this, sorry. Okay, so the other thing was open to work green circle. So like I said, in your headline here, this is your prime real estate. So I don't want it to say seeking opportunities right here, but a way to kind of show people in your network and recruiters that you're open to work is just this little option right here. And this is a new feature that LinkedIn created with COVID. So if you look at some profiles, they have like a little green ring around their picture. And so you can say, hey, I am open to work. And you can even customize this to say, I only want recruiters to know I'm open to work, or I want my entire network to know. And so, because obviously if you're actively working, but you're looking for a change, you probably don't want your boss to know that you're looking for work. So there's a way to kind of customize that. But that's, you know, and same with recruiters. We now have the option to say, hey, we are hiring, we have opportunities. And I believe it's a purple ring that goes around it. So it's a way to kind of share that information without using your headline, which is really cool. Okay, so the other one, add profile sections such as featured to host media links. We kind of talked about that, and that's right here. So add profile section. And then people also viewed. Okay, this is really cool. I am so excited to share you. Sorry, Alex, I'm going to use your profile here as an example. Okay, so we've got Alex once again from Unbound. And right here it says people also viewed. This means that they have similar words on their profile, keywords or experience as Alex. So as a recruiter, if you have this viewable on your profile, you literally just gave me a list of similar candidates to you. So in a competitive market, you might not want that. You know, once again, I work at a coding boot camp. So our students all have very similar backgrounds as far as their software development experience. So for them, when I go to their profile, this will show probably about 5, 10 of our other students. So that really doesn't work in their favor, right? So a way that you can turn that off, and if I go to my profile here, you can see people you may know, but that's not also, it's not the same thing. That's different. This is people that I might have mutual connections to, not people who have similar profiles. So how you can adjust this is you can go, so you click on your profile icon, you click on settings and privacy, you click the account preferences, and then you click change viewers of this profile also viewed, and you click no. And I can send all of these tips to Alex as well, but just your profile settings, account preferences, and then viewers of this profile also viewed. So you can change that. So I know we're running out of time here, so I'm going to wrap up. I've got 2 more slides, and then we'll just open it if there's any questions. So now that's kind of the overview of just really optimizing your account on a quick high level. It's not really diving super deep on how to create bullet points and that summary, but just to kind of give you an idea of what people are looking for. And actually, let me show you one more thing really quick. Right here on my dashboard, you can see I have this all-star status. That means that my profile is complete. So if you don't have an all-star status, it actually makes it harder to find you. LinkedIn is, it's a platform that if you utilize the platform, it rewards you. So the more complete your profile is, the more connections you have, the more active you are on the platform, the higher you're showing up on those searches if I'm doing kind of a Boolean search for some talent. So instead of going through 10 pages of profiles, you might be on page 1 or 2, right? Which is really good. Then that means I'm finding you quicker, and hopefully I'm looking at that profile then. But now you've got a LinkedIn account, it's been optimized, and so now what do you do? Like I said, it really rewards those people who use it. So if you create a LinkedIn account, it can, like I said, it can truly be a powerful tool, but you've got to use it. It can't just be something where you create a profile and it just sits there. So you're going to start creating posts, and I know a lot of people get really intimidated by creating organic posts, but this doesn't need to be something organic. You don't have to be an author killer of anything. It's more of just sharing content with your network, with like-minded individuals, right? So you're going to go through your news feed. Maybe you follow, once again, I'm in software development, right? So maybe I'm following the trends of technology. Maybe you're following what are the changes happening to libraries? How do we modernize them? Maybe you're really big into education, those kinds of things. So whatever those personal interests and professional interests are, you're going to share those, you're going to connect with those kinds of people and find articles about that. Maybe you're working on a specific project, right? Maybe Alex, for example, you know, being part of this new renovation of Unbound, that's an exciting project. And so she could share an update or a post about it. Maybe share an event that you attended. Maybe you went to a meetup. Maybe you went to a ribbon cutting. Different things like that. You can share those kinds of posts or conferences. You can join groups. So once again, you can network with other individuals who are in the same industry. And then you can connect with others. So maybe you're using keyword searches. So maybe you type in the word recruiters and you use a filter saying Boise, Idaho, and you're connecting with recruiters, or librarians, or college professors. If you're wanting to go work at, you know, BSU, you could go look up college professors at BSU. And then you can send a personalized message. And so this is how you truly connect with people. So the ideal number is 500 connections to really kind of beat the algorithm of LinkedIn. I know that's a lot and quite intimidating for a lot of people, but just take slow steps, maybe 10 people a week. And so when you go and connect with somebody, you have an option to, let me just see here. We're gonna say, we'll just say, software developer. Sorry, once again, that's kind of my industry. So I can do a keyword search up here. I can use these filters. I can also do something like plus, you know, Boise, Idaho. And we want people. And so, and then here's some more filters that I could change, right? So maybe I go to this Ryan Drake, okay? I don't know him. We obviously have some mutual connections, it looks like. I can click here, connect, and I can add a note. So going back to that premium, since I don't have premium, you can see I can't send a message, but what I can do is I can connect and I can add a personal note. So this is, maybe I reach out to Ryan and say, hey, I see you're a software developer at Whitley. I work with, you know, career changers getting into the software development industry. I would love to connect. So you only have 300 characters, so it's a quick and very precise message, but it kind of gives that purpose of why you're connecting with them. It shows that you looked at their profile. It allows you to kind of customize that communication. So that's kind of using those keyword searches and filters and sending personalized messages. Then the next thing here, so just to kind of re-emphasize, only 2% of job seekers obtain their position through applying online. So it's really, it's not the best way. You know, that's a very reactive job search approach. I want you to start thinking really proactively. You know, how can you bypass that applicant tracking system? How can you connect with hiring managers? How can you start chasing the company versus just applying for jobs? So it's a shift in thinking. But you can, like I said, connect with people, build your network. Here's 2 sample messages. This is somebody maybe I know. So, hi, Bill, how have things been going for you at T-Mobile? I'm reaching out to my network to let them know that I'm making a career change into software development. Once again, this could be any industry, right? If you know of any companies that I should look into, I would be grateful. I look forward to staying in touch with you. So I already have Bill's trust. I already know who he is. So I can just cut to the chase and ask him a very pointed question. Whereas new people that I'm connecting with, like I said, look at their profile, really create a custom message, and really ask a very pointed question, right? So this one says, congratulations on your career success. I see you climbed to the ranks very quickly to senior software developer. I noticed that you landed your job right out of college. Can you tell me more about that experience? You know, maybe would you be open to having a coffee date? You know, something like that. So it's a very pointed question. So I know I kind of went through that last part kind of fast. I just wanted to open it up if there were any questions. And then of course, connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just Brittany Owensman, and I am at CodeWorks. So one more really quick trick, you could also do like Brittany, and like I said, plus, and then the company name. And this could work for anybody that you were wanting to connect with. But that's just one way that I go about finding people. And so you can use that with a specific name. It could be, you know, kind of like I did here, software developers plus Boise, Idaho. I could do, you know, let's see, professor plus, you know, Boise State University, right? And then it would show me people, and then I can find all of these people and kind of go through and look through them, right? So right now it's showing me 4,000 results. Obviously, I'd want to use some filters and do like current company, things like that. But so that's just a quick way of finding people. And then also one more thing before we actually have questions here. This is my news feed. So just like any other platform, this is what you see when you log in. And so maybe I honestly spend 15, 20 minutes, maybe a day, not very much. I find something that really resonates with me and then I share it. And so you don't want to just share the post or just like the post. You really want to try and start a dialogue with those people. So let me just show you really quick. Here's all of my activity. So sometimes I like things, but oftentimes I'm commenting on them and adding some input. So you can see all of my activity here as far as engaging with other posts, but then here's my actual post that I've created. And oftentimes it's not, you know, here's one about Unbound actually when I went for a tour. And so it's not just about creating organic content. You can tag people, you can use hashtags. This will kind of also generate more viewers to your profile. But so that's kind of a quick overview of everything. But let me switch over here and we will stop screen sharing and just open it up for any questions.